Man does not attract what he wants, he attracts what he is. Think about it. What if your thoughts were the commands the universe simply obeys? What if everything you're living right now is the exact result of how you think every day? This is not just any book. It's a short but explosive guide. It doesn't offer magical recipes or empty promises. It reveals a powerful truth. Thought is the seed of your reality. Each chapter is a mirror where you'll see who you truly are, and a tool to transform into who you want to become. When you activate this inner energy, your aligned, focused, and powerful mind, the universe has no choice. It begins to obey you. Because you're not trying to change the external world. You're reprogramming your internal world. And that, my friend, changes absolutely everything. But before we continue, comment below, "I'm ready to activate my energy and transform my life." That way I'll know you're one of the awakened ones, someone who no longer wants to live on autopilot. Ready to begin this journey toward your true greatness? Then let's begin. Chapter 1. Thought and Character. Thought is the source of action, of life, and of manifestation. It makes man what he is. As he thinks, so he is. This phrase is not a metaphor. It's a law. A law as powerful as gravity, but infinitely more ignored. Yet, it operates every second of your life. Want to know why you're stuck in the same routine? Why it seems your desires never come true? Because you're acting from a thought pattern you haven't consciously chosen. You're repeating ideas you absorbed without filtering. And now, they are your reality. Man is literally what he thinks. His character is the complete sum of all his thoughts. You are not what you appear to be, nor what you claim to be, not even what you wish to be. You are what you habitually think. Your character, your habits, your decisions, your temperament. They're all born in the mind. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the result of your dominant thoughts. Just as the plant springs from the seed, and could not be without it, every act of man springs from the hidden seed of thought and could not have appeared without it. Every decision you made, every mistake, every achievement, had a mental root. An idea that grew, sometimes without your awareness, until it became action. There are no accidents. Everything is preceded by thought. So if you want to transform your life, don't start with the world. Start with your mind. This applies equally to spontaneous and unpremeditated acts as to those deliberately executed. The act is the blossom of thought, and the joy or suffering that follows is its fruit. Did you know even your impulsive reactions were planted long before? When you insult, when you judge, when you react with anger, you're not improvising. You're revealing a system of thoughts that's been inside you for a while. If those thoughts are negative, your life becomes a battlefield. If they are pure, conscious, and elevated, your life flourishes. Man reaps the sweet or bitter fruit of his own mental sowing. There are no excuses here. If today you're experiencing chaos, anxiety, poverty, or disorder, it's not the world's fault. It's the reflection of a thought you've allowed to grow. But here comes the power. You can plant new seeds. You can decide which thoughts to nurture. You can change your character. Man is an evolving being. Through right thinking he can rise. Through wrong thinking he can fall. At every moment, he is the master of his destiny. It doesn't matter who you've been. What matters is what you're willing to think today. Your mind can be your greatest jailer, or your most powerful ally. You can use it to destroy yourself or to liberate yourself. And the best part, you have the power to choose. Between the secret thoughts of the heart and life's conditions, there is a constant relationship. No circumstance arises that has not been nourished by thought. Yes, even the situations that seem unfair or external to you. There's a subtle connection between what you silently think and what you face externally. Your relationships, your environment, your opportunities. They're all aligned with your mental vibration. Character is not formed by chance nor by whim. It is the natural and constant result of thought. You weren't born with a fixed personality. Your character isn't carved in stone. You built it, thought by thought, belief by belief. And that means you can rebuild it too. Changing your thinking is not just positive, it's transformative. It's your ticket to a new you. Noble and divine thoughts make a man noble and divine. Brutal thoughts make a man brutal. It's brutally honest but necessary. If your thoughts are full of complaints, envy, rage, or fear, you cannot expect to live in peace, abundance, or love. There's a coherence that the universe always respects. You will only attract what vibrates with what you are. And you are what you think. Man becomes what he contemplates. If you focus your mind on the negative, it expands. If you direct your energy toward the higher, that also grows. What you think, you reinforce. What you repeat, you integrate. And that, over time, becomes your everyday reality. Now, pause for a second. Don't think about changing your life from the outside. Stop looking for tricks, shortcuts, or external blame. True transformation begins in the silent and powerful terrain of your mind. Your character is moldable. So is your destiny. Because you are the sculptor. And thought, your chisel. Activate this energy now. Mold your inner world and watch as the universe begins to obey. Chapter 2. The effect of thought on circumstances. The mind of man may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. This comparison is brutally revealing. Your mind is not an automatic machine. It's fertile soil, and everything you drop into it, a thought, a belief, a repeated emotion, takes root. And what happens to a neglected garden? Weeds take over. The same happens in your life if you don't watch what you think. It's not that you're negative by nature. It's that you haven't taken control. If no useful, true, and pure thoughts are put into it, then an abundance of useless, false, and impure thoughts will grow therein, and will continue to produce their kind. Do you realize what this means? That if you don't consciously choose your thoughts, someone else will. The media, social networks, your traumas, your fears, other people's beliefs. All that will become your thoughts, and will end up shaping your decisions. You choose whether to grow flowers, or weeds that ruin your soul. Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds, and growing the flowers and fruits which he requires, so may a man tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all the wrong, useless, and impure thoughts, and cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. This is the key to self-mastery. The mind does not clean itself. You must stay awake, alert, and disciplined. Every day, without excuse, you must uproot the limiting thoughts, I can't, I'm not enough, I don't deserve it, and replace them with seeds of power, I am capable, I deserve abundance, I am cause, not effect. Only then will the universe begin to obey you. By pursuing this process, a man sooner or later discovers that he is the master gardener of his soul, the director of his life. Here is a revelation that can change everything. You don't need the world to change. You need to govern yourself from within. When you take the helm of your mind, you discover you are not at the mercy of fate. You are creating it with every thought. He also reveals, within himself, the laws of thought, and understands, with ever-increasing accuracy, how the thought forces and mind elements operate in the shaping of his character, circumstances, and destiny. Do you see the magnitude of this? Your thoughts not only affect how you feel, they affect who you are, what you attract, and what you live. They are invisible forces building your path. If you're consistent in your mental discipline, your external world will begin to realign. But if you're chaotic within, you'll live in chaos without knowing why. Thought is the fount of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. Everything starts from within. Nothing in your world happens without first being created in your mind. If you want wealth, peace, healthy relationships, start by building them in thought. Visualize them. Feel as if they were already real. The universe responds to your inner state, not to superficial desires. Circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. This sentence is a direct blow to the ego. How often do we blame the environment for what we live? But difficulties don't come to destroy you, they come to show you who you really are. Do you react with fear or with faith? Do you sink or rise? What's outside doesn't shape you. It only reflects what already lives within. A man does not attract what he wants, but what he is. This is one of the most powerful truths you can grasp. It's not enough to wish. The universe doesn't respond to your words, but to your vibration. If scarcity lives within you, you'll attract more lack. If certainty lives within you, you'll attract opportunity. The question is, who are you being when no one's watching? His wishes and prayers are only gratified and answered when they harmonize with his thoughts and actions. You can pray all you want, but if you live in doubt, in fear, in distrust, you're sabotaging your own creation. The energy you emit must be coherent. Thought, emotion, and action in the same frequency. That is the invisible formula that transforms your world. Man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. And this is the book's great promise. You are not a leaf in the wind. You are not destined for eternal suffering. You can shape your life from the root. You can become the architect of your destiny. You just need to take control of your most powerful energy, your thought. Chapter 3. The effect of thought on health and the body. The body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. Have you ever felt how a negative thought can physically drain you? It's no coincidence. Your body is not a separate entity. It's the most faithful reflection of what happens inside your mind. Every tension, every ache, every fatigue is often nothing more than the echo of chaotic thoughts or unresolved emotions. Under the control of impure thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. Under the influence of pure thoughts, it becomes clothed with youth and beauty. What if I told you your body ages more from resentment than from time? Dark thoughts like anger, envy, or bitterness not only rob you of peace, they also steal your health. Meanwhile, those who cultivate gratitude, compassion, and authentic joy often show vitality regardless of age. Because the mind doesn't only build character, it builds the body too. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. This may sound radical, but if you think deeply about it, it makes sense. It doesn't mean that all physical ailments are the mind's fault, but it does mean that your thoughts can accelerate or reverse processes. Constant anxiety, for example, doesn't just damage the mind, it destroys the immune system. That's why mastering thought isn't a luxury. It's preventive medicine. Impure thoughts of every kind tend to destroy the harmony of the body. What thoughts do you let in without noticing? Constant criticism, harsh judgment of others, silent self-punishment. Each of these thoughts becomes vibration, and that vibration runs through your body. Muscles tighten, digestion slows, the nervous system exhausts, all because you allowed thoughts you should never have harbored. Thoughts of fear have killed more men than bullets, and they are killing more every day. This is a brutal warning. Fear is more lethal than many diseases. It paralyzes you, stops you from acting, and worst of all, weakens your vital energy. Don't underestimate the power of your darkest thoughts. Ignoring them is not enough. You must transform them. Because sustained thought creates vibration, and that vibration determines whether you bloom or wither. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. Here lies the key to vibrant health. It's not just about eating well or exercising, which are also essential. It's about learning to think clearly, to have an orderly mind, to raise your thoughts above complaint and fear. When you do that, the body responds with energy, resilience, and real, lasting health. The body is a delicate and plastic instrument, which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed. You don't need decades to see the effects. Your body responds instantly. Haven't you noticed how your face lights up with good news? Or how pain eases with a sincere hug? That's not magic. It's the direct manifestation of a high-vibrating mind. If you did that consciously every day, your body would become a living extension of your inner fullness. The change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. This phrase sums it all up. You can have the best diet in the world, but if your mind remains intoxicated with negative thoughts, your body will remain out of balance. True health begins in the invisible. When you cleanse your mind, your body begins to reject everything not aligned with your new vibration. People, habits, food, everything begins to purify. The body manifests the thought. Have you ever seen people who don't fit beauty standards, but radiate something magnetic? That's what an elevated mind produces. Real beauty, not superficial. It's a light from within that transforms every gesture, every look, every movement. A beauty that doesn't age, because it doesn't depend on the body, but on the soul. Your body is the mirror of your soul, and your soul speaks through thought. Change the root, and the whole tree blooms. Chapter 4. Thought and Purpose. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Here lies a truth that separates dreamers from those who transform their lives. Thought without purpose is like an arrow without direction. You can have brilliant ideas, intense desires, even good intentions. But if you don't link them to a clear purpose, they dissolve into thin air. A thought without purpose has no strength, cannot shape reality. It's noise without impact. With purpose, thought becomes a creative force. Without it, it dissipates and leads to destruction. Do you realize the power in this phrase? When your thoughts have a firm purpose, they become concentrated energy. They align with the universe, create direction, open paths. But if they're scattered, if you don't know why you think what you think, that same energy turns into chaos. Doubt, anxiety, empty decisions. You end up tired, frustrated, confused. Not because you lack power, but because you're not directing it. Just as weakness cannot persist in an energized universe, a purposeless mind cannot remain centered amidst the confusion of the world. We live in an age of constant distraction. Information, noise, opinions everywhere. And if you don't have a clear purpose, you'll get lost in that tide. Your mind will be carried by everything external. The news, criticism, collective fears. But if you have purpose, you're anchored. It doesn't matter how chaotic the world is out there, you know where you're going. And that makes you an unstoppable force. A man must conceive of a legitimate purpose in his heart and strive to accomplish it. Don't wait for purpose to magically come to you. Choose one, even if it's imperfect at first. What matters is having a direction, a North Star. Do you want to grow spiritually? Do you want financial independence? Do you want to serve with your art? Decide. Because without purpose, the soul withers. He must make this purpose the central task of his thought, make it his supreme duty, and concentrate all his spiritual energies on its fulfillment. Here lies the secret no one tells you. When your purpose becomes your priority, everything in you changes. Your habits change. Your circle changes. Your thoughts stop scattering. Each day becomes an opportunity to move closer. That concentration of energy, that devotion, is what produces supernatural results. That's when the universe begins to obey. Even if he fails again and again, as long as he does not abandon his purpose, he is growing stronger and more skillful with every effort. Failure is not the end. It's part of the training. Each attempt polishes you. Each fall teaches you what you didn't know you needed. As long as you keep moving forward, failure is just a sign that you're walking. Remember, purpose holds you even when everything else shakes. He who lacks a definite purpose in life is a prey to petty thoughts, doubts, fears, and worries, which are signs of weakness and cannot lead to success. Have you ever felt lost? Like everything affects you, like your mind is filled with 1,000 uncontrolled thoughts? That's the mind without purpose. Vulnerable, influenceable, fragile. But when you have purpose, nothing stops you. Fear becomes a call to action. Doubt becomes a question that pushes you forward. Purpose turns everything into fuel. A man should avoid, as he would a plague, those purposeless desires that infest the mind. Not everything you desire comes from your soul. Many desires are driven by ego, comparison, or emptiness. That's why wanting isn't enough. You have to ask yourself, is this desire aligned with my purpose? Or is it just a distraction disguised as motivation? He who has conquered weakness and has set his heart on a legitimate task has risen to a place of power. That is the path of the true creator. It's not the one with the most talent or luck. It's the one who has overcome the weakness of a directionless life. It's the one who has chosen to link every thought to their purpose. When you do that, there's no force in the world that can stop you. Chapter 5. The Law That Does Not Forgive. The highest good you can achieve in this life is not wealth, nor power, nor fame. It is inner peace. And this only comes when your outer world aligns with the order of your inner world. Life doesn't reward actions. It rewards causes. What you do is just a consequence of what you think, of how you see the world, of what you believe you deserve, and of what you're willing to tolerate. This is where one of the most relentless laws of the universe comes into play. The law of cause and effect. A law that does not forgive, does not negotiate, and cannot be deceived. Man is a being of evolution. In his current state, he is in a process of development, and therefore contains within himself the elements of both evil and good. And do you know what this means? That you are the soil where both seeds are sown. Chaos and harmony. Defeat and victory. And what blooms in your life doesn't depend on circumstances, or luck, or the system, but on which seed you nurture with your thoughts every day. It's easy to blame others for what we lack. It's tempting to point fingers at luck, the government, family, or a bad streak. But here comes the uncomfortable truth. Everything you have, and everything you don't, is the perfect reflection of what you've planted in your mind for years. It's not about punishment, it's about consequence. This law doesn't distinguish between rich or poor, good or bad, educated or ignorant. It's universal. And that's why a person with a fertile, powerful, and goodness-aligned mindset will end up thriving even in the midst of chaos. While someone who plays the victim and waits for circumstances to change before acting will remain stuck in the same cycle. Man only begins to be a man when he ceases to complain and recognizes himself as the master of his destiny. Do you see it? It's not just about thinking positively. It's about taking control. About seeing each thought as a creative tool that builds or destroys your world. About understanding that if today you have debts, broken relationships, or a directionless life, it's not a tragedy. It's a signal. A sign that your inner world needs order. That you've allowed thoughts of disorder, doubt, fear, and now you're simply harvesting their fruits. But it's also the best news you can receive. Because if you caused it, you can change it. No one else has that power over your life. No one. When you internalize this law, everything changes. You no longer waste energy blaming. You no longer wait for luck. You no longer live reacting to the world. Because you know you are the cause. And if you align with good, with wisdom, with self-mastery, the universe will start to obey. It's not an empty promise. It's a law. A law that doesn't forgive, but it never fails. A law that rewards with precision. And the day you decide to turn your mind into a temple of order, your whole life will begin to reflect that order with miraculous precision. This is the turning point where many fall back or awaken. You decide which seed to nurture from today forward. Because everything you think, feel, and believe is creating your future in this very moment. Chapter 6. The secret power behind circumstances. Man does not attract what he wants. He attracts what he is. This is one of those truths that hit hard. Because we've been taught to ask, to wish, to visualize. But no one explained to us that the universe doesn't respond to our words. It responds to our deepest vibration. The great book makes it clear. Circumstances don't shape the man. They reveal who he truly is. And this statement changes the game completely. Are you surrounded by chaos? Do you feel stuck, trapped, or frustrated by what's happening around you? Then stop looking outside. Look within. Because the environment is not the enemy. It is the mirror. Every situation you face is the direct result of what is happening inside you. Your mental state creates your life state. Your beliefs, your habits, your emotional reactions. All of it projects an energy that builds the conditions you face. If you want to change your outer world, it's not enough to move pieces on the board. You have to become a different player. And that begins with a brutal truth. You don't attract what you crave on the surface. You attract what you truly are in the depths. If you're constantly worried about losing money, It doesn't matter how much you earn, your reality will be one of scarcity. If you distrust people, the universe will send you betrayals. If you see yourself as a victim, life will put you in scenarios that confirm it. But if you rise above, if you consciously choose serenity, gratitude, determination, and faith, then that energy will begin to shape your circumstances to match your level. The external changes when you change, not before. This is not a nice idea. It's a law, and it operates with mathematical precision. That's why the great book doesn't focus on changing the world, but on transforming you. Because the only place where you can exert absolute power is inside your mind. Do you want a new life? Plant new thoughts. Do you want extraordinary results? Raise your internal level. Do you want to be surrounded by abundance, love, opportunities? Then become the kind of person who lives in that kind of world. Don't wait for luck to find you. You are the cause, not the effect. And this is where many fail. They believe they must first see the change outside to believe in their power. But it works the other way around. First, you must act like someone who already has everything. Feel whole before you see success. Vibrate in harmony before the reward arrives. That is true mastery. That's why this knowledge is so powerful and so uncomfortable. Because it places all the responsibility on your shoulders. You can't blame anyone. Not the government, not the economy, not your childhood. Because you are the creator. But it's also liberating. Because if you are responsible, then you are also the architect. And that means you can redesign your entire destiny. Activate this energy. Not from theory, but from conviction. Not from hope, but from certainty. And you'll see how the universe begins to respond. Not because you're repeating affirmations, but because you are already a different person. You don't live what you wish. You live what you are. And what you are always manifests. Chapter 7. The inner garden that shapes your destiny. Man is the master of thought, the forger of character, the creator and shaper of conditions, environment, and destiny. This statement from the enigmatic book is not only powerful, it's transformative. It reveals that within each of us lies an invisible, fertile, and living garden, the mind. And like every garden, it can bloom with beauty or become overrun with weeds. It all depends on the gardener, and that gardener is you. What you think each day, each minute, is planting invisible seeds that will determine what you reap tomorrow. There is no exception to this law. It doesn't matter your environment, your story, or your circumstances. What you choose to think is the root of what you're going to live. Many blame fate, chance, or bad luck, but this principle gives us back total power. Our outer life is a direct reflection of our inner world. And here is where the greatest secret is revealed. The universe does not respond to what we want in words, it responds to what we feel and believe with conviction within. If your thoughts are full of fear, the garden of your mind will attract thorns. If they are filled with hope, love, and vision, opportunities will bloom. And it's not magic, it's law. A law as precise as gravity. The universe simply obeys your internal vibration. So the question isn't, what do I want to achieve? But rather, what thoughts am I cultivating each day? You can't plant doubt and expect to harvest certainty. You can't feed resentment and expect peace. The mind doesn't lie, it simply obeys. And this idea is liberating. If you want to change your life, change the seeds you plant in your mind. Watch your thoughts like someone who checks their garden every morning. Are you allowing weeds of self-criticism, pessimism, or resignation to grow? Uproot them. And plant thoughts of gratitude, determination, and trust. The mind, like the soil, doesn't decide what to grow. You decide. It simply produces. And the harvest will come, sooner than you think. That's why this chapter is a call to awaken your creative power. You are greater than your circumstances, because your thoughts shape them. You are wiser than your mistakes, because you can learn from them and plant better ones. And you are more powerful than you believe, because the garden you cultivate today will become the landscape you live tomorrow. So make yourself a promise. From today on, become a conscious gardener of your mind. Don't let others' thoughts, negative news, or past wounds plant what you don't want. Take control. Plant what you want to live. And the universe, like a perfect echo, will respond obediently. Everything starts inside. Everything starts with you. Chapter 8. Thought as the sculptor of destiny. Man does not attract what he wants, but what he is. This short yet brutally revealing phrase is enough to shake the foundations of everything you believe about success, failure, love, health, and life itself. Because if this is true, then your reality is not determined by your desires, but by your internal state. Not by your intentions, but by your deepest vibration. By what you are in the invisible. Man is literally what he thinks. His character is the complete sum of all his thoughts. This means that your actions, habits, results, are nothing more than the external traces of your most intimate thoughts. The ones you repeat every day without realizing it. The ones you've normalized, inherited, absorbed without questioning. And now, those thoughts are the ones sculpting your destiny like an invisible artist. Think of it this way: each thought is a chisel shaping your life. If your thoughts are weak, negative, or contradictory, the result will be a blurry, fragile, and broken figure. But if your thoughts are clear, focused, positive, and aligned with a higher ideal, your destiny will become a work of art. It's not magic. It's law. A mental, spiritual, and universal law that never fails. You cannot attract abundance if fear, complaint, or doubt dominate within you. You can do affirmations, vision boards, and rituals every day. But if you don't transform who you are at your deepest core, nothing will truly change. The acts of man spring from the hidden thoughts within him. Look around. Everything you've achieved or failed to achieve, everything you have or don't have, is a direct consequence of those hidden thoughts. And that's not something to regret, it's something to liberate you. Because if you created it, you can change it. The sculptor can remake his work. You can choose new thoughts that elevate you, that inspire you, that cleanse you. But here's the real secret. It's not enough to think positively for a few minutes a day. What truly shapes your destiny are the thoughts you hold when no one's watching. The ones you repeat while showering, while walking, while eating, while dreaming. Those automatic thoughts that have been with you for years. That's the point of transformation. Man is a being of evolution through thought. This means your life is not destined to stay the same. You have the right and the duty to evolve mentally, to elevate your way of thinking, to re-educate your mind. Because only then will you begin to see a new reality bloom before you. So, stop asking what you want to attract. Ask yourself, who must I become? What thoughts do I need to plant with strength, with faith, and with discipline until they blossom into my character? Because once you do that, the universe will have no choice but to obey. Chapter 9. The Law of Inner Attraction. Man does not attract what he wants, but what he is. This phrase may seem simple, but it holds one of the most powerful truths in the universe. We live obsessed with asking, visualizing, and desiring. We want wealth, success, love, opportunities. And yet, very few stop to observe their inner world. Very few ask themselves, am I aligned with what I desire? Am I truly the kind of person who embodies the life I want to attract? The great author reveals to us that we don't attract with the force of desire, but with the force of inner vibration. That vibration is determined by what we constantly think, by our dominant emotions, and by the mental state we maintain most of the time. Do you want abundance? Then you must become a person with an abundant mindset, even before you have a single extra cent in your bank account. Do you want harmonious relationships? Then you must cultivate peace, empathy, and understanding within yourself before demanding it from others. The law does not respond to what we say we want. It responds to what we already are. It's like a mirror. It cannot reflect an image different from what is placed in front of it. And this changes absolutely everything. Because it makes you 100% responsible for your reality. You cannot blame luck, the system, or the past. If something persists in your life, it's because there's something in you still attracting it. If something changes, it's because something in you changed first. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors. That secret the author speaks of is not so secret. It's about the repetitive thoughts you hold in silence, your inner doubts, your silent complaints, your unspoken fears. What you hide, what you try to ignore, is what manifests most strongly. Because energy doesn't respond to appearances. It responds to what vibrates most powerfully within you. And here lies the key to transformation. If you want the universe to obey you, you must first obey yourself. You must take command of your mind, become an inner architect. Because the universe doesn't respond to begging, but to coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, you create a powerful magnetic field. A field that inevitably attracts favorable circumstances. But if you live desiring one thing, thinking another, and acting in contradiction, everything scatters. You lose power. The universe gets confused and sends you chaos. The power is not in asking, it's in becoming. Becoming a clear mind, a clean heart, a firm purpose. Then everything reorganizes. People change. Doors appear. Opportunities align. Not because you asked, but because you vibrated. Because you were congruent. Because your energy spoke louder than your words. And that is the highest level of attraction. Not asking from lack, but expressing from wholeness. There, the universe has no choice. It must obey. Chapter 10. When you activate this energy, the universe will begin to obey. Man is what he thinks about all day long. This is another key we must deeply internalize. The energy of the universe does not respond to our empty words or occasional thoughts. It responds to the consistent energy we emit, to the persistent vibration we create with our mind and emotion over time. The great author explains that thought is not just a mental process, but a dynamic force that affects our entire reality. Each thought is a spark of energy that can either ignite a fire or extinguish it, depending on how we manage it. If the mind is full of negative, limiting thoughts, fear or doubt, the energy we generate will be dense, blocked, incapable of attracting what we desire. But if we learn to control and focus those thoughts, directing them toward a clear vision of what we want to achieve, then we activate an energy of creation, of manifestation. The key lies in inner coherence. The universe doesn't obey what we say we want, but the energy we are continuously emitting. If our emotions are aligned with our thoughts, if we maintain an attitude of trust and certainty, we begin to radiate an energy the universe cannot ignore. Every thought you emit has a vibration, and that vibration creates a reality. That's why, when we focus on what we desire with our whole mind and heart, we begin to attract it. Not because we explicitly asked for it, but because we have activated a vibrational frequency that resonates with what we're seeking. It's as if the universe were a magnetic field, and we are the magnet that attracts everything in our same frequency. What you need to understand is that this energy doesn't arrive by chance. It is activated when you become a vibrant being of what you desire. If you want success, you must think, feel, and act like someone who is already successful. If you desire love, you must emit the energy of love and compassion, not just toward others, but toward yourself. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It always responds to the frequency you emit. Deep down, we know that everything we need to achieve what we want is already available to us. It's just a matter of learning to resonate with it. The universe hides nothing or withholds anything. It simply reflects what is in tune with who you are. The great author teaches us that this energy cannot be forced or manipulated. It's not a matter of asking desperately, but of living as if you had already received what you desire. True magic happens when you stop focusing on what you lack and begin to live as if everything were in place, as if you were already surrounded by abundance, love, and success. It is at that precise moment that the universe responds. Because the universe obeys the law of vibration. It cannot act any other way. When you activate this energy, the universe begins to work for you. But remember, it's not instant or illusory magic. It's the natural law of the universe that responds to inner congruence. When you are coherent with your thoughts, emotions, and actions, the world begins to align in your favor. So, how do you activate this energy? Change your mindset. Make sure your thoughts are aligned with what you desire. Feel the emotion of already having it. It's not just about thinking, it's about feeling that it's already yours. Act with confidence and certainty. Do what's within your power to manifest it, but without strain, with faith in the process. When you understand that everything you desire is within reach of your vibration, and when you begin to live in that frequency, the universe will have no choice but to fulfill its part. Because at the core, everything is connected through that universal energy that responds to your intention. It's not about waiting for the universe to serve you. It's about tuning in with it. When you activate that energy, your life will change in ways you cannot even imagine. Chapter 11. The Unstoppable Mind. Awaken the power of your subconscious. What you think, that you become. This is one of the most powerful and transformative concepts we can understand. The human mind is an incredibly powerful machine, but the true key doesn't lie only in what we think consciously, but in what lies deep within our subconscious. The great author explains that most people live their lives driven by automatic thoughts, by beliefs and patterns stored in their subconscious mind. And it's precisely there, at that deep level, where the true power of transformation lies. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It acts like fertile soil that takes the seeds we plant and makes them grow. If we plant seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, that is the reality we will see flourish. But if we sow thoughts of success, abundance, and confidence, those will be the circumstances that emerge. The subconscious does not question. It simply accepts. What you place in your mind, whether consciously or not, gets recorded in the subconscious and begins to influence your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The key is to take control over what we feed our mind. If we want a different life, we must feed our subconscious with new beliefs, new affirmations, new images of success. But there's a crucial point here. Empty affirmations are not enough. The real power comes from constant repetition and deep conviction. The subconscious responds to the strength of repetition and emotion. For example, if each day you repeat, "I am an abundant person," but you don't feel the emotion behind that affirmation, your subconscious won't accept that belief. You need to feel, visualize, and act as if you already are that person. Because the subconscious responds more strongly to emotion than to mere words. The unstoppable mind begins when you understand that you have total control over what you allow into your mind. When you decide to become conscious of your thoughts, your emotions, and what you allow into your mental space, you activate a process of internal transformation. And when you align with that energy, the universe begins to align with it as well. What's incredible about all this is that we don't need to struggle with external circumstances. The true power lies in changing the internal vibration. When we manage to adjust what's inside, the outside begins to transform automatically. The power of the subconscious is unlimited, but it only works when we learn to use it consciously. And here lies the difference between those who live reacting to life and those who direct it, those who take control of their subconscious. These are the ones who have understood that their mind is the key to unlocking all the possibilities life has to offer. The unstoppable mind is not something that happens automatically. It is the result of training our mind to work in our favor. Every repeated thought, every positive affirmation, every emotion aligned with what we want, is one more step in the construction of that powerful mind that attracts everything it desires. So how can we begin to awaken that subconscious power? Be aware of your thoughts. Pay attention to what you're thinking at all times. Every thought is a seed. Use affirmations with emotion. It's not enough to say, "I am successful." Feel it deeply, as if you were already living that success. Change limiting beliefs. Identify your negative beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. Visualize your desired future. Imagine, with all your senses, the life you wish to live. When you act from internal conviction, when you get your conscious and subconscious minds to work in harmony, the power you awaken is unstoppable. The mind doesn't just respond to your thoughts, it acts in coherence with them, and the universe has no choice but to align with that energy. The secret lies in learning to reprogram your subconscious, to fill it with thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that empower you. When you do this, there are no limits. The power of your mind is infinite. Chapter 12. The Inner Force that Transforms the Outer World. Man is the architect of his own destiny. This statement sums up one of the most powerful truths about our existence. The control of our life is ultimately in our hands. The reality we experience is not an accident or the result of luck, but the direct product of the thoughts, beliefs, and decisions we make each day. The great author invites us to reflect on our true nature. While external circumstances may seem uncontrollable or even overwhelming, Our true strength lies in how we respond to them. Our internal response to the external world determines our experience. Throughout our lives, we have been conditioned to see the world as something out there that affects our well-being. But what few understand is that, in reality, the external world has no power to define our life. We are the ones who give it power. It is our mind, our attitude, our way of thinking that determines how we experience the universe. This inner force we speak of is the power of a focused mind, the strength of positive thinking and inner conviction. A mind aligned with its goals, that believes in its potential and acts with determination, has the ability to transform any circumstance. The mind has the power to change the direction of your life. And best of all, this power does not depend on what happens outside of you. You don't need to wait for conditions to change for you to start thriving. In fact, conditions will only change when you begin to vibrate at a new frequency. When you take control of your thinking, when you decide how to respond to life's difficulties and challenges, you begin to unlock an unlimited energy within you. This energy not only allows you to overcome obstacles, but also propels you to create new opportunities. True power is found within you, and your environment only reflects what you carry inside. It is true that we all face difficult moments, unexpected challenges, and situations beyond our control. But the difference between those who thrive and those who remain stuck lies in how they perceive those moments. The people who manage to transform their world are those who see every challenge as an opportunity to grow, learn, and evolve. And this is where the magic happens. When you decide to transform your mind, when you choose to see life from a positive and empowered perspective, the universe begins to respond accordingly. The external world begins to reflect the new energy you've activated within. So, how can we activate this inner force? Change the way you see challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as threats, see them as opportunities for growth. Develop a resilient mindset. Learn to rise stronger after every fall. Act with determination and confidence. Inner strength is not activated by thoughts alone, but also by firm actions directed toward your goals. Become the architect of your destiny. Ensure that every thought, every word, and every action is aligned with the life you want to create. When you awaken this inner force, when you stop depending on the outside world to define your happiness, the power you emit becomes unstoppable. This power not only transforms your life, but also begins to positively influence others, the circumstances, and the opportunities you attract. True strength does not lie in controlling the external world, but in mastering the mind that creates that world. Chapter 13. Mental Clarity. The Path to Total Fulfillment. He who does not know what he wants will never have what he desires. This principle, though simple, confronts us with one of the main reasons why people do not achieve success: lack of clarity. Without a clear vision of what you truly want, you cannot expect the universe to deliver what you long for. Mental confusion creates scattered energy, which results in scattered outcomes. In contrast, clarity generates focus, and focus is what produces great results. The great author teaches us that clarity is one of the most powerful qualities we can develop. Without it, our actions are inconsistent, our decisions waver, and our efforts lose direction. Clarity is the map that guides our path to fulfillment. The power of the mind is unlocked when we know what we want. Each day, our thinking flows in one direction or another. But if we don't know which direction we want to take, that stream of thoughts drags us in every possible direction, without reaching any harbor. This is the chaos of a disordered mind. Mental clarity, on the other hand, allows you to take control. When you know what you want, when you have a clear vision of your future, your mind automatically organizes itself to work in that direction. A clear mind becomes an unstoppable mind. Clarity is more than just knowing what you want. It's visualizing in detail what you desire and living as if you were already achieving it. The mind doesn't understand the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Therefore, by maintaining a clear and vivid image of your future, your subconscious will begin to create that future in your reality. The key is to keep that image constantly in your mind and empower it through the emotions it awakens. For example, if you desire success in business, it's not enough to simply tell yourself you want to be successful. You must visualize with precision every step you take on your path to success, from the smallest to the biggest details. The clearer your vision, the easier it will be to identify the opportunities that will help you achieve it. Mental clarity allows you to align your conscious mind with your subconscious. This alignment is crucial for success. If your conscious mind is focused on a goal, but your subconscious is still held back by limiting beliefs, there will be internal conflict. It's as if you're rowing in one direction with all your might, but your boat is being dragged in another. Mental clarity eliminates that friction. To develop true clarity, you must first eliminate the mental noise that distracts you. Doubts, fears, and worries only serve to cloud your vision. You must make a conscious effort to eliminate these obstacles and focus on what you really want. When your mind is clear, opportunities begin to appear with a frequency that once seemed unimaginable. So, how do we cultivate this mental clarity? Define what you truly want. Take the time to reflect on your goals and desires. Be specific. Visualize your success. Imagine every detail of the success you want, as if you were already living it. Eliminate mental noise. Free yourself from negative thoughts, fears, and doubts that interfere with your vision. Act decisively. Mental clarity is not built on thoughts alone, but also on firm actions aligned with your goals. Clarity is what allows you to move with confidence and determination toward your goal. When your mind is clean, aligned, and focused, the universe begins to respond to that clarity with tangible results. A clear mind is a powerful mind, and when you have clarity, you've already taken the first step toward total fulfillment. Remember, there are no limits to what you can achieve when you have a clear vision and a determined mind. Chapter 14. Unshakable Action. The bridge between dreams and reality. It is not enough to have ideas. You must do something with them. This principle reveals a profound truth. Dreams and goals are not achieved solely through thoughts, wishes, or affirmations. Action is the engine that turns abstract ideas into concrete results. The great author reminds us that merely wanting something is not enough. We must back it with decisive and consistent action. The power of action is what triggers transformation. You may have the best plan, the clearest vision of the future, or the most powerful affirmations. But if you don't act, those dreams will remain just that, dreams. The difference between those who achieve success and those who remain stuck is the willingness to act. And not just any action, but unshakable action. Action that is not stopped by doubt or obstacles, but moves forward with determination, step by step. Unshakable action is that which does not depend on external circumstances. Successful people don't wait for perfect conditions to act. They understand that perfection is an illusion and that opportunities don't always show up at the ideal time. That's why they take action without waiting for external signs, trusting that their constant effort will lead them to where they want to be. It is perseverance, determination, and self-belief that open doors. The key is to take the first step, then the next, and then another. Sometimes we don't have all the information or total control of the situation, but action generates momentum, and that momentum brings with it the clarity you need. True action comes from self-confidence. When you believe in your abilities, when you trust your vision, action becomes natural. Doubt and fear disappear because you know that constant movement is what will ultimately lead you to success. No matter how big the goal is, what matters is moving forward without giving up. Action must be consistent with the goal. It's not just about doing for the sake of doing. It's about doing what is necessary, consistently and aligned with your goals. Actions must be clear, direct, and decisive, without unnecessary detours. And this doesn't mean everything will be easy. Success is full of obstacles, but persistent action is what enables you to overcome them. Success is not about avoiding failure but learning from it and continuing forward. The magic of action lies in the fact that it always brings a response. Every step you take toward your goals, no matter how small, generates a response. The universe responds to the energy of your effort and commitment. But if you remain still, waiting for circumstances to change on their own, the universe will have nothing to respond to. Action activates the law of cause and effect, creating a positive energy that attracts more opportunities. So, how can we cultivate unshakable action? Make firm decisions. Indecision weakens energy. When you decide, you act with more power. Take the first step, even if you have doubts. Action generates clarity. Don't wait for everything to be perfect to start. Maintain a persistent mindset. If you stumble, get up. The key is not to stop. Be consistent. Constant action is what creates progress, not sporadic great efforts. Remember, no matter how big the dream is, What matters is taking the first step. Then take the next. Unshakable action is the bridge between what you imagine and what you finally achieve. The more you act, the closer you get to making your dreams a reality. Because action not only changes circumstances, but also changes the person who acts. And when you change, everything around you starts to change too. Chapter 15. The Power of Positive Thinking. Transform your reality just by thinking. What your mind believes, it creates. This principle highlights one of the most powerful truths of the universe. Your mind is the main creator of your reality. We often underestimate the power of our thoughts, but the truth is that these thoughts shape our lives, our destiny, and our circumstances. If you want to change your life, you must first change how you think. The great author reminds us that positive thinking is not just a tool for emotional well-being, but the very foundation of personal creation. Thoughts are the spark that ignites the fire of action. They are the invisible force that shapes everything we see and experience in our surroundings. The power of positive thinking lies in its ability to change your perspective. When you practice positive thinking, you're not just focusing on the good, you're training your mind to see opportunities in the midst of challenges. Positive thinking is not about ignoring difficulties, but choosing to focus on what you can do, what you have, and on the solutions instead of staying trapped in problems. A positive mind attracts the positive. Everything you experience in your life is a manifestation of what you carry inside. If your thoughts are positive, if your mind is full of hope, gratitude, and faith, then your circumstances will begin to reflect that energy. The law of attraction doesn't just respond to what you want, but to what you are. And if you are someone who thinks positively, you will attract what matches that vibration. It's essential to understand that negative thinking not only limits your potential, but creates an energy field that repels opportunities. Negative thinking is like a magnet that attracts more negativity. But the good news is, you can change that. By starting to cultivate positive thoughts, you can reverse that energy and begin to attract circumstances and people that help you move forward. It's not just about thinking positively, but about sustaining those thoughts over time. The human mind is extremely powerful, but it's also vulnerable to fear, doubt, and negativity. That's why positive thinking must be a constant practice. Every time a negative thought arises, replace it with a positive one. Do it consciously until it becomes a habit, and little by little you will notice how your life begins to change. The persistence of positive thinking is what finally creates the reality you desire. Positive thinking isn't something that happens overnight. It's a daily practice that requires discipline and dedication. But over time, the results are extraordinary. When your thoughts align with what you desire, the universe has no choice but to respond to that vibration. So, how can we strengthen our positive thinking? Focus on what you have, not on what you lack. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate positive thoughts. Visualize the success you desire. Imagine your life as if you have already achieved it. Immediately replace negative thoughts. Don't let fear or doubt take control. Act quickly to shift your focus. Surround yourself with positive thoughts and people. Energy is contagious. Seek out what uplifts you. Remember, your mind is the workshop where your destiny is forged. Positive thinking is the tool that allows you to design the life you want to live. Every positive thought you feed is a brick in the construction of your future. If you want a life of success, peace, and abundance, start by transforming your thoughts, and the universe will align with that new energy. Chapter 16. The Power of Persistence. The Secret to Conquering the Impossible. Perseverance is the hallmark of great achievements. Most people who achieve success do so not because of their intelligence, skill, or resources, but because of their ability to keep going despite adversity. The great author teaches us that the key to achieving any goal does not lie in external circumstances, but in our ability to persist in the face of challenges. Persistence is not just an act of will, but an inner force that allows you to keep moving forward, even when everything seems against you. It is the determination to continue, not to give up, to know that despite temporary failures, success is inevitable for those who do not stop. The power of persistence lies in its ability to overcome resistance. Every time you decide to keep going despite the obstacles, you are strengthening yourself. The resistance along the way is nothing more than a test from the universe to measure your commitment. And with each step, you become stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling what's to come. Success does not come to those who desperately seek it, but to those who remain steadfast. Successful people are not those who face no difficulties, but those who never stop fighting. If they fall, they get up. If they fail, they see it as a lesson. They know that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress toward their destiny. The key is not to let hard times define you, but to let each of those moments bring you closer to your goal. Persistence is the most direct way to break any barrier. Everything worth achieving in life, whether it's a successful business, a fulfilling life, or enriching relationships, comes with challenges. You can't avoid difficulties, but you can decide how to react to them. The difference between success and failure lies in that constant decision to move forward, step by step, no matter what happens along the way. The first step toward persistence is unwavering belief in your purpose. When you know why you're doing what you do, your motivation grows stronger. A clear vision of what you want and the certainty that you can achieve it are the driving forces that will push you forward. Persistence is not based on blind hope, but on the conviction that every effort serves a greater purpose. True perseverance arises when you understand that failure is not the end. Every time something goes wrong, instead of seeing it as an obstacle, you must see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Failure is simply a sign that you're close to success. Every mistake brings you one step closer to the right formula. People who persist are not those who never fail, but those who learn to get back up after every fall. So, how do we cultivate persistence? Believe in your purpose. When you're clear on what you want, the motivation to continue strengthens. Keep a long-term vision. Success doesn't happen overnight, but every step counts. Learn from every failure. Don't see it as an end, but as a lesson to keep improving. Surround yourself with support. Persistence is fueled by the inspiration others give you, whether mentors or fellow travelers. Remember, it's not strength nor speed that determines success, but the ability to keep going. Persistence is the principle behind every conquest. No matter the obstacles, no matter the stumbles, if you keep your eyes on your goal and continue walking, you will undoubtedly achieve what you set out to do. Because perseverance, like a constant current, has the power to bring down the highest mountains. Chapter 17. The Secret of Self-Esteem. The foundation of your personal power. What you think of yourself is what you determine you will become. The way you see yourself is the most crucial factor that will determine what you will achieve in life. If you don't believe in your own worth, in your ability to reach what you desire, how can you expect the world to do so? The great author reveals to us that self-esteem is the cornerstone of your personal power. It is the foundation upon which your achievements, your success, and ultimately your happiness are built. Self-esteem is not based on what others think of you, but on what you believe about yourself. If your self-image is weak or negative, no matter how hard you try to move forward, you will always be held back. But if your self-esteem aligns with your greatness, then the whole world will respond to that energy. Self-esteem is not an option, it is a necessity. It is essential to understand that self-esteem does not depend on your external achievements, but on how you feel inside. You can have success, wealth, or fame, but if you do not value yourself internally, you will never enjoy those blessings. The true source of satisfaction and power comes from the respect and love you feel for yourself. When you value yourself, your life changes. The way you perceive yourself determines how others perceive you. When you respect yourself, you demand respect. When you love yourself, you attract love. The universal law of attraction responds to what you radiate internally. If you emit insecurity, others will distance themselves or treat you with disdain. But if you radiate confidence, clarity, and self-esteem, the world will align with that vibration. Self-love is a constant act of acceptance. Accepting who you are, with all your strengths and flaws, is the first step to increasing your self-esteem. The process is not about perfection, but about acceptance. Authenticity is the path to true self-esteem. Stop comparing yourself to others, stop seeking external validation, and start being yourself without fear or judgment. Your self-esteem strengthens when you face your fears. It is important to recognize that self-esteem is not just a feeling but a daily practice. It is built by confronting what intimidates you, learning to say no when necessary, and making decisions that reflect your self-worth. Every time you face a challenge and overcome it, your self-esteem grows. So don't avoid difficulties. Embrace them as an opportunity to strengthen your self-love. So, how do we cultivate powerful self-esteem? Make an inventory of your achievements. Acknowledge what you have accomplished, even the small victories, and celebrate them. Speak kindly to yourself. The way you talk to yourself directly affects how you feel. Learn to say no. Set healthy boundaries that respect your well-being. Surround yourself with people who value you. Healthy relationships reflect your self-esteem. Remember, true power does not come from what you achieve, but from who you are. Self-esteem is the key that opens every door in your life. When you see yourself with respect and love, you become an unstoppable force. Because successful people, those who achieve their dreams, are not the ones with the most talent, but the ones who believe in themselves. And that is what will allow you to accomplish everything you set your mind to. Chapter 18. Decisive Action. The engine of your dreams. Thought without action is just a dream. Action without thought is a nightmare. Throughout this process of personal transformation, mindset change, and development of inner power, there is one factor we cannot ignore: action. Thoughts, no matter how powerful, only come to life when they are translated into concrete actions. The mind without action is like a car without fuel. It may be the most advanced machine, but it goes nowhere. The great author tells us that action is the bridge between what you desire and what you get. It's not enough to think big or dream of a better life. You must act with determination toward that vision. Action is not only the means to achieve results, it is the external manifestation of your faith and self-confidence. Decisive action is what defines the course of your life. It's easy to postpone things, to delay our projects, to let fear or uncertainty paralyze us. But the only way to move forward is to take a step, then another, and keep walking. The key is not to wait for the perfect moment, but to act in the present. Action doesn't need to be grand, but it must be consistent. Many times we think we need to make huge moves to change our life, but the truth is that the accumulation of small daily actions is what truly creates impact. It's not about doing everything at once, but about being consistent, acting with determination, and not giving up when the results aren't immediate. The real power of action is that it forces you out of your comfort zone. When you take action, especially outside your comfort zone, you face your fears and doubts. It's there, in that uncomfortable space, where real growth happens. Every action you take challenges you, teaches you, and makes you stronger. It's not fear that defines the great, it's the courage to act in spite of it. Decisive action also involves faith. Acting with the certainty that what you're doing has a purpose, and that even if things don't turn out as expected, they will still bring you closer to your goal. Action is an act of faith in the process. By acting with confidence, you send a message to the universe that you are ready to receive what you've asked for. So, how do you take decisive action? Start with small daily tasks. Don't overburden yourself at first, but do something every day that brings you closer to your goal. Face your fears. Action often requires you to leave your comfort zone. Do it with courage. Don't seek perfection. Seek progress. Don't wait until you have all the answers. Act with what you have. Set clear and measurable goals. Action is guided by a clear purpose. Define what you want and how you'll achieve it. Remember, action is the key that opens all doors. No matter how big or small your dream is, what truly matters is the action you take toward it. Without action, your thoughts and dreams remain floating in the air. But with decisive action, the universe begins to move the pieces for them to become reality. You are the architect of your destiny, and the actions you take are the tools you'll use to build it. Chapter 19. The Power of Forgiveness. Releasing your inner energy. Forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it transforms the future. One of the greatest blocks we face on our path to success and inner peace is resentment. The great author speaks about the power of forgiveness, not as a favor to others but as a personal release. Forgiveness is not for those who hurt you, it's for you. It's the act of letting go of the emotional weight you carry, freeing your mind and heart to move forward freely. When we hold on to resentment, we cling to a past that no longer exists. Every negative thought we harbor about others, or ourselves, acts like a chain that keeps us from moving forward. Forgiveness cuts those chains and allows our energy to flow freely into the future. To forgive does not mean to accept what happened, but to release the emotional impact that still affects you. It's normal to feel pain when someone harms us, but it's our responsibility not to let that pain control our lives. Forgiveness is the decision that the harm received will not define our future. Letting go of resentment is a way to reclaim total control over your life, restoring your personal power. Forgiveness is also internal liberation. When we forgive others, we are not only offering them peace, we are granting ourselves permission to heal. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, allowing us to release what no longer has a place in our life. Every time we forgive, we cleanse our mind and spirit of negative emotions like anger, guilt, and resentment. Forgiveness allows love to take the place of anger. Love is the most powerful energy there is. When we forgive, we align ourselves with that energy of love and openness. By releasing resentment, we make space for positivity in our life, attracting peace, harmony, and prosperity. Anger and resentment are dense energies that block the flow of abundance. Forgiveness, on the other hand, raises our vibration and brings us into harmony with the forces of the universe. Forgiveness is the path to freedom. When you hold on to resentment, you remain tied to a past you can no longer change. Forgiveness gives you the key to free yourself from that past and take a firm step into the future. By forgiving, you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the creator of your life. So, how do we practice forgiveness? Acknowledge the pain. The first step to forgiveness is accepting what happened and how it affected you. Don't hold grudges. Accept that resentment won't change what happened, but it will affect your future. Do it for yourself. Remember that forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. Free your energy. Each time you release resentment, you free a part of yourself that was trapped in the past. Remember, forgiveness is an open door to your future. When you forgive, you not only let go of the pain, you also open the door to new opportunities, new relationships, and a life filled with peace. Forgiveness transforms not only your present but also your future, allowing you to create a reality full of love, success, and harmony. Chapter 20. The Power of Faith. Believing in the impossible. Faith is seeing the invisible and believing in the impossible. Faith is the invisible force that moves mountains. The great author reveals to us that faith is not just blind belief, but a deep certainty that guides every thought and action. It's that inner trust, that force that pushes you forward when everything seems to be against you. Faith not only connects you to the divine, it connects you to your unlimited potential. Faith activates the energy of the universe. When you deeply believe in something, the universe begins to respond. Faith creates a vibration in your being that attracts what you believe, not what you wish for. If you have faith in your success, in your prosperity, in your ability to overcome any obstacle, then that faith will begin to manifest into reality. It's not magic, it's the universal law of vibration. What you believe with conviction becomes your reality. Faith is stronger than doubt. The problem is not the lack of opportunities, but the lack of faith. Doubt is faith's greatest enemy, because it connects you to the energy of fear and limitation. The more you doubt yourself and your abilities, the harder it becomes to reach your goals. But when you stop doubting and start having faith, you align with the cosmic forces that work in your favor. Faith is the fuel that ignites your dreams. Faith is not just about passively waiting for things to happen. Faith activates action. It's the conviction that everything you do, even if you don't see immediate results, is bringing everything closer to the manifestation of your desires. It's the inner certainty that the universe has a plan for you, and that everything you do with faith brings you closer to your goal. Faith is cultivated day by day. Faith is not something you gain overnight. It's something you build with every positive thought, with every act of trust in the process. Every time you face a challenge and choose to believe in yourself, your faith grows. Faith is also nourished by gratitude. The more grateful you are for what you have, the more your faith grows in what is yet to come. Faith gives you the courage to act. When you have faith, you act with the confidence that no matter the obstacles, your efforts will produce results. Faith is not passive, it is active. Faith is the courage to take the next step, even when you don't see the whole path. Trust in yourself, in the process, and in the universe gives you the strength to keep moving, even when the results aren't immediate. So, how do we cultivate faith? Practice positive visualization. Imagine every day what you want to achieve, and firmly believe that it's already possible. Replace doubt with certainty. Every time doubt arises, replace it with the conviction that you will succeed. Take action with confidence. Take steps toward your goal, even if you don't have all the answers. Feed yourself with gratitude. Be thankful for everything you have now and for what is coming, because gratitude strengthens your faith. Remember, faith is not just believing you can, it's knowing that you will. When you have faith, there are no limits. You can achieve anything you set your mind to, because faith is the key that opens all doors. Faith transforms the impossible into possible, because it connects you to the infinite power of the universe. Chapter 21. Total Change. Transform your reality from within. The only true revolution begins within you. Nothing changes on the outside until you change on the inside. The great author reminds us that all external transformation is a reflection of an inner metamorphosis. It doesn't matter how many courses you take, how many books you read, or how much advice you hear. If your inner world remains tied to fear, doubt, and self-sabotage, your life will remain trapped in the same pattern. Real change is not an upgrade, it's a reprogramming. It's not about adding more knowledge or strategies, but about uninstalling limiting beliefs and replacing them with powerful truths. It's a mental, emotional, and spiritual reboot. Because if your thoughts are the same, your emotions are the same, and your decisions will be the same too. And therefore, your life won't move an inch. You can't attract something new while being the same person. If you want abundance, you must leave behind the scarcity mindset. If you desire true love, you must heal the wounds of the past. If you long for success, you must embrace a new identity, that of someone who already deserves and lives it. It's not about having first so you can become. It's about becoming first so you can have. Transform your inner dialogue, and you'll transform your destiny. What you say to yourself every day builds or destroys your reality. Every thought is a command you give to your subconscious mind, and the universe responds to that frequency. If your mind is programmed for failure, you'll attract situations that confirm it. But if it's calibrated for growth, there will be no limit that can contain you. You don't need to wait any longer. The change begins today. You don't need the stars to align or for the perfect opportunity to arrive. You are the starting point of change. Decide now to rewrite your story. Decide to leave behind what no longer resonates with you. Decide that your past will not define your future. How do you start this total change? Observe your thoughts. What kind of phrases do you repeat each day? Do they empower you or hold you back? Act as your higher self. Think, speak, and walk like the version of you who already achieved what you desire. Break with the old. Let go of habits, people, or environments that are no longer aligned with your new reality. Affirm your new identity with strength. Declare out loud every day who you are and who you are becoming. Celebrate every small change. Every step, no matter how small, is a sign that you're making progress. Remember, your environment is not the cause of your state, it's the effect. When you transform your inner world, your external world has no choice but to adapt to that new level of consciousness. The universe is a mirror, and when you change, everything changes. This is your moment. Total change is underway, and it all begins within you. Chapter 22. Destiny. You write it, you change it. You are not bound by your destiny. You are bound by your decisions. The enigmatic book reveals a shattering truth. Your destiny is not written in stone, it is written in thoughts. What we call luck, fate, or chance is, in reality, the accumulated result of our mental, emotional, and spiritual choices. There is no external force more powerful over your life than yourself. Do you believe your story is already defined? That you come from a family with no opportunities, or that you were born in a difficult country, or that it's simply not your path? That's not destiny, it's mental programming. And it can be rewritten. Because every day you wake up, you have the power to completely alter the course of your life. You didn't come to survive someone else's script. You came to write your own. The great author teaches us that true freedom is not external, but internal. It's choosing which thoughts to feed. It's deciding which beliefs to adopt. It's having the courage to imagine a new future and walk toward it, even when everything around you says it's impossible. What if destiny were just the sum of your daily decisions? Every thought you choose to believe, every emotion you decide to sustain, every action you take with conviction, all of that accumulates. like drops forming an ocean. And that ocean becomes your reality. There is no magic more powerful than a mind aligned with a clear purpose. Want a new destiny? Make new choices. Change your narrative. Change your energy. Change your level of commitment to your dreams. And you'll see how the universe adapts to your new version. 3 keys to rewriting your destiny. Take 100% responsibility. Don't put your life in the hands of the past or other people. The power is yours. Visualize the destiny you want to live. Don't drift through life. Be intentional. Clarity is power. Act as if you were already that person. Don't wait to have it all figured out. Start now. Identity precedes achievement. Destiny is not something you wait for. It's something you create. You are not a victim. You are the author. You're not just another character. You're the protagonist. And this chapter of your life can be the turning point. The moment where everything changes. Where you decide to stop living on autopilot and take control. Your story is not over yet. And the next chapter, you write it. Chapter 23. Silence. The voice with the most power. In silence, the truth is revealed that the world's noise tries to hide. The enigmatic book takes us to a space that many fear, but few master. Silence. Not the empty, awkward, or boring silence, but that sacred silence, where external voices fade and your inner voice emerges. Wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers. And to hear it, you must be willing to silence everything else. The noise of the ego, the opinions of others, the anxiety about the future, the guilt of the past. Only when the soul becomes still does it become receptive. That is when you hear with clarity what truly matters. How many answers haven't you found simply because you don't know how to be silent? We live saturated with stimuli, screens, notifications, constantly seeking signs, guidance, motivation out there. But the most powerful thing is inside. Silence is the gateway to intuition, to certainty without logic, to knowledge without explanation. The great author reminds us that silence is not absence, it is absolute presence. Presence of what is essential, of what is eternal, of the divine within you. And those who master silence, master energy. Because from that state of stillness, true power is born. The power to respond with awareness instead of reacting on impulse. What if silence were the wisest teacher you've ever had? Be silent, and you will discover what you truly desire, not what you were told you should want. Who you really are, without masks or labels. What truly guides you, not fear, but your deepest purpose. Make silence your practice, and you'll get answers without questions. Meditate. Breathe. Walk without music. Wake up before the world. Let the universe speak to you without words. Because some things can only be understood in the language of silence. In a noisy world, silence is your advantage. And in that space, you'll find the most powerful voice that exists, your own. Chapter 24. Order. The invisible energy of success. Where there is order, there is power. Where there is chaos, there is loss. The enigmatic book reveals a silent but relentless principle. The universe favors order. It's no coincidence that the stars follow precise paths, or that the human body works with mathematical accuracy. Life flourishes where order reigns. And so does your success. Everything you long for, peace, abundance, clarity, starts with order. Order in your mind, in your environment, in your habits. You cannot manifest greatness from a chaotic space. Because internal chaos reflects externally. Impulsive decisions, poor results, stagnant energy. But when you create order, something shifts. You're not just cleaning a desk, you're clearing your focus. You're not just organizing your finances, you're opening the flow of prosperity. You're not just structuring your day, you're aligning intention with action. And then, the universe responds. Because order is not rigidity. It is structure with purpose. It is telling life, I'm ready to receive more, because I can handle it. The great author emphasizes, order attracts. And not just things. It attracts people, ideas, opportunities. An orderly mind is magnetic. An orderly life has direction. And a clear direction shapes destiny. Want to move fast? Create order. Make a list. Close cycles. Remove what's unnecessary. Simplify. Every space you clean, every hour you structure, every promise you keep, is a signal that you're ready for more. And the universe does not waste power. It gives it to those who prove they know how to use it. Order isn't boring. It's liberating. Pulls you out of emotional chaos, out of stress, out of indecision. And it brings you back to your core. Focused, stable, unstoppable. Because success doesn't come from luck. It comes from preparation. And order is the greatest preparation there is. Chapter 25. Transform. Become one with the power. The true miracle is not changing the world, but changing yourself. The great author leaves us with one final revelation. True transformation begins when you realize you are not a limited body, but infinite consciousness. Everything you've heard on this journey hasn't been theory. It's been a call to awaken. Because you are not a leaf in the wind. You are the wind. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of them. And the life you long for already exists. It's waiting for you to become someone capable of holding it. Want a different life? Be a different person. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more inherited thoughts. To transform is to decide, with strength and no return, that you will never again live on autopilot. Every principle shared in these 25 chapters is a step toward your highest self. The creative force. The unstoppable mind. The indomitable will. All of that is already in you. Just asleep. Awaken it. You don't need more information. You need action. Because knowing without acting is the same as not knowing. And now that you know, you have no choice but to transform. Make your life a declaration. Let every step you take say, I'm here for something great. Let every word you speak express, I own my mind, my energy, my destiny. Don't become just another one who listens and stays the same. Become that rare 1% who listens and changes. The one who transforms their mind, their world, and the world of those around them. Because if you change, everything changes. And when you become aware of your power, the entire universe kneels before you. Now you know. It wasn't a coincidence you made it this far. This message was for you. To remind you of what the noise of the world wanted you to forget. You are the power. You are the origin. You are the cause of everything. Every word you heard, every principle revealed, is a tool to rewrite your destiny. But now, the question is not if you have the knowledge. The question is, will you use it? If something inside you was ignited, if you felt the call, if you know you're ready for more. Subscribe now. Because this is just the beginning. Deeper revelations are coming. And the journey is only starting. See you in the next video. And remember, shape the universe in your favor.